And it's having an impact on their intentions and also the attitudes towards American travelers themselves. And understanding the domestic travel plans of Americans provides that context for the international outlook. So it gives a sense of what the priorities are for travelers, how those priorities have changed and will continue to change. And we're seeing positive growth across both domestic and global markets. We know, for example, that American travelers are planning to spend more money on trips and take more vacations in the coming year than any time since 2020. And also they're really keen to travel. They can't wait to travel. They're shortening the planning process. They want to explore the world, whether it's on their doorstep or further afield. So it's a positive picture on the whole. And we can see from their international travel intentions that interest in visiting both Europe and Asia has risen significantly since last year. So we asked American travelers, those who have an interest in visiting international destinations during the next 2 years, so a 24-month period from when we ran this survey earlier this year as part of our quarterly Portrait of American Travelers series of reports. So this data on the right-hand side is among those who are interested in at least one international destination. And you can see the difference year on year between the first quarter of 2024 and the first quarter of 2025. Interest in visiting Europe has grown from 52% to 57%. And you can see their interest in visiting Asia has grown by 5 percentage points from 20% to 25%. And we know that among those American travelers who want to or are planning to take a vacation over the next 6 months, 35% are planning to travel internationally. And this is the highest percentage since 2020. It's a 5% increase year on year, which is hugely important. The majority of those travelers, 85%, are planning to leave the country within the next 2 years. That's a 4% increase since last year. And as I said, Europe and Asia have both risen significantly in popularity compared to this time last year. So it's, again, a positive picture for multiple destinations, but for Asia specifically, a big percentage point rise since this time last year. And we also see generational differences. All of our research, we're able to pinpoint the differences across demographics and really drill down into those key differences to help our clients understand who the audiences are and how they can appeal to them, how they can target them, how they can work with MMGY on marketing campaigns, for example. And we see generational differences that Asia is more appealing to younger Americans. So compared to other destinations that people are interested in visiting over the next 2 years, Asia shows a clear, consistent decline in appeal as travelers age. You can see that 33% of Gen Z, 30% of millennials are interested in visiting Asia. But you can compare that to the older generations, 22% of Gen X, so fewer than a quarter, and then just 18% of boomers. And you can also see, obviously, one of the key things that we get asked about all the time and which we're constantly reviewing and investigating is the impact of artificial intelligence, of AI. And lots of developments, obviously, in that space, and lots of pros and cons, I think. But there's some positives to start thinking about from AI in terms of how it's being used for travel planning. And again, we ask these questions of American leisure travelers and other travelers from other markets. So those who have used AI for travel planning, the majority are using it to suggest activities of interest. So they're using AI to help them think about things that maybe they haven't thought about. To generate travel ideas and inspiration is 40%. And then 40% use it to plan a trip itinerary. So cutting out some of the, I guess, the less fun elements of travel, the more kind of admin-based elements of travel, using AI to run types of research into flight options or to suggest different types of accommodation, suggest destinations of interest. So what we're seeing is that AI is being used to support the travel planning process. It's not taking over travel planning. It's not replacing other ways in which people are planning, but it's supplementing how people are planning their travel. And what we're seeing, importantly, is a generational shift where for the younger people, social media, AI are essential. They're looking to influencers, they're looking at AI tools like ChatGPT for inspiration. Older generations are more likely to trust traditional sources like travel agents, whether they're online or offline, looking at things like review websites, those things that offer a personalized service, trustworthy advice. They have a reputation that people in the older cohort tend to trust. And 34% of travelers have used ChatGPT or something similar to plan travel. And you can see a big shift in terms of younger generations. That moves up to 49% of millennials, and 60% of Gen Z. And in terms of Asia, we're seeing, on the whole, interest in specific countries across the region has seen a shift downwards, aside from Singapore, which has increased slightly between 2023 and 2024, which is the last time we ran this region-specific comparison. But interest in visiting Asia among those who are interested in visiting at least one international destination over the next 2 years has grown from 20% to 25%, as I said in the previous slide. So there is still intent. It's when that trip happens. Obviously, from an American point of view, it's a long way to travel, and it maybe involves a bit more planning, a bit more research, obviously thinking about things like who you're traveling with, at what time of year you're traveling, how much time off from work you have, for example. So you can see here that the difference is year on year between 23 and 24 across all of these different countries of importance. Importantly, you can also see the primary areas of interest that we asked about. Culinary experiences, 69% of travelers who are interested in taking a vacation in the next 2 years internationally are motivated to experience food that is eaten by locals. So huge opportunity to really focus on the culinary scene and the authenticity that provides, and that genuine connection that food provides that other elements of travel don't necessarily do, or that do in a different way.